Sounds ironic, but when you stop trying to impress them, that's when you truly connect with your audience. Hello, my fellow troubadours. All right, so here's a question that I get all of the time. Frank, how do I impress an audience with my playing? What songs can I play that will get a reaction? And here is my answer almost every single time. Stop trying to impress them. I know it sounds weird, especially since we spend so much time practicing and we want to feel like we're good. I used to do this all the time. Go on stage thinking, all right, I'm going to nail this solo. I'm going to play this complicated, Lindsey Buckingham fingerstyle part and blow people away. And I'd pick a lot of the technically challenging stuff just to show what I could do. But honestly, the more I focused on trying to impress, the less connected I felt with the audience and the less reaction I really got. They weren't responding the way I expected because I was so wrapped up in me and how I sounded rather than the music. And I know it sounds counterintuitive, right? But after years of performing, I've learned that it's not your technical chops that most audiences are really paying attention to. In fact, they probably don't even know if what you're playing is difficult or not, other than maybe a few real music nerds or musicians. Now look, if you could play something that's highly technical with ease and make it feel effortless, then that's great. By all means, do it. But if you can't, it's better to wait until you can play the song effortlessly, relaxed and in control before you even try. Most people in the audience aren't musicians. They're not analyzing your speed, your finger placements. They don't care about your fancy solo or what kind of complex chord or fingerstyle arrangement you're doing. What they respond to is something much deeper and much simpler. They care about how your music makes them feel. Them being the key word, not you or I. Take someone like B.B. King. His solos are iconic. Nobody would argue that. And they're not super technical. But he knew how to feel every single note. And more importantly, he knew how to make you, the listener, feel it as well. And that's the secret. Audience connect with emotion, not complexity. Let me share something that I've noticed after years of playing live. I've had people come up to me after gigs praising certain songs for the guitar work, right? And here's the crazy part. Oftentimes, the songs that they were raving about were technically very, very simple. Like, I'm talking 3-chord basic rhythm, right? And I'm sitting here saying to myself, why are they complimenting me on that? Don't they know that I played such and such a song that's way more complicated? But the truth of it is they didn't know. They just were commenting on the one that connected to them. So what's really happening here? Why do audiences react strongly to something simple? Reminds me of something one of my teachers once said. Every song is simple once you've mastered it. It's because the audience doesn't care if a song is hard to play. They care about how it moves them, how it speaks to them, what they're feeling when they hear it. If you're playing it with emotion, you'll capture that feeling and you'll transfer it to them. And that's the thing that's going to stick. That's what they're going to remember. People remember how they feel. And here's where a lot of musicians fall into a trap, me included. We spend so much time practicing technical skills. And don't get me wrong, that is important, obviously. But when it comes to the live performance, we get so focused on showing this skill off that we forget to just play. When your mind is all wrapped up in the thoughts of, will they be impressed by this? Or I hope I nail this technical part. Or when you're doing that, you're no longer present. You're in your head. And the audience, they can feel that. If you're playing with the goal of impressing others, you're operating from a place of anxiety and fear, whether you realize it or not. You're seeking some sort of validation. And that will create a tension in your playing, not a good tension. And trust me, that tension is going to come across. The audience will feel the disconnect, even if they can't pinpoint what it is. The effortless mastery approach, right? It's how you get out of that mindset. And this is where the book, Effortless Mastery by Kenny Werner comes in. And I've spoken about this in other videos, but this book completely changed how I approach performing. In Effortless Mastery, Kenny talks about letting go of self-criticism and perfectionism. It's about playing from a place of relaxation and presence rather than anxiety. And that is where mastery lies, in that playing from a place of relaxation. Even if you're playing two notes, you can play them with mastery. Instead of worrying about how you're being perceived or judging yourself in real time, you focus on being fully in the music. When you stop caring about impressing others and focus on just expressing yourself, you'll play with more authenticity, and that's what's going to connect. Okay, so now how do you actually put this theory of sorts into practice? Here are a few things that I found helpful. We're going to focus on emotion first. Before you play a song, think about what feeling you want to convey. Are you trying to evoke nostalgia, happiness, sadness? Are you asking your audience a question? Are you trying to get some imaginary thing out of something? Like, what is your motive? Let that emotion guide your playing. What are you as the artist trying to get from the listener? And not compliments is not an answer. You're trying to get something out of the listener, some imaginary thing that you're trying to convince them of. Think of that when you play. And don't overcomplicate things. Play what serves the song, not what shows off your skills. Some of the most powerful moments come from simplicity. You don't want to be like that drummer that we've all played with at some point in our past. You know, the drummer that throws in fills and cymbals everywhere instead of just locking in and holding down the beat. Don't be that person. You want to stay present when you're playing. Keep your mind in the moment. If you find yourself thinking or your mind is wandering off to thoughts like, I hope this sounds good, or I hope they're impressed, I hope they realize how hard this is to play, or take a breath, refocus on the music itself. By focusing on the moment and the music, you're actually focusing on the audience. That's the best gift you can give them. That's your job. Ultimately, it's about letting go of that need to impress. Sounds ironic, but when you stop trying to impress them, that's when you truly connect with your audience. And dare I say, impress them. So next time you're on stage, or even just practicing, remember, it's not about how fast you can play or how complex your chords are. It's about how the music makes people feel. When you shift your focus to emotion, presence, and connection, the technical stuff kind of will just fall into place naturally. Get that book. It's in the description. You can click on the link. I really, really recommend that. Mastery doesn't have to be hard. In fact, the more effortless you make it, the more powerful your performance will be. Thank you so much for watching. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. Maybe buy me a coffee or subscribe to my Patreon. And please drop a comment below with your thoughts on playing from the heart. I'd like to hear what you have to say about it. Once again, I am Frank Persico. I thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.